Welcome back to Vintage Story one day at a time. Hopefully I can finish this video and have it uploaded by Sunday when I'm still recording this by Sunday, so that's going to be a lot. This week I decided to try and do a little more visual effects and a little more editing than usual. It's not much, it's not a lot, but it's something else to help people who are just kind of watching it, and it's also easier to tell when another day has started. I feel like every other day has not had a big impact. I just say I did the day ends here and then I go to the next one, and that's not a sufficient explanation of everything. There is also something different on this day, on this week specifically. I started using a few other mods. So the first one you're going to see pop up here right away is going to be one called custom traits or something like that. I will have to find it and explain it better, but pretty much it lets you pick negative traits and positive traits and add to your character. I removed the XCan classes one because I believe it's bugged and it's just not working good, so I just remove it altogether. I tried to make my own custom traits for that thing. It didn't work out very well. It didn't work out at all, actually. And I gave up. Obviously, I don't have enough time to just mess around and do everything. But pretty much the gist of it is I'm gonna be taking some traits and I will be lowering my stats in some things. But to even use this, I have to give myself permission, and it takes a few tries for me to get it right. I fucked it up. But what I know about my playstyle is that I like being the melee. I like, yeah, sure, range is useful for hunting and a lot of stuff like that, but I mostly stand melee range on things. You know, in this playthrough, I've been avoiding combat a lot, and I decided to pick up some more HP and some more healing, so I have a little more space to commit mistakes, and pretty much I'm just gonna make myself a little hungrier. So here at the start, I'm actually just going to make myself hungrier and increase my move speed and my HP and my healing by a lot. Actually, you're gonna see how much HP I'm going to get in a second. But I actually realized later that this world already has like a 75% hunger rate, and combined with the food spoilage, which I think is good for me to have. Because remember, I set the mods on this world to have 30 days, which means my winter is going to be fucking massive. So I don't want to die from just not having food in winter. But by increasing the hunger here, I basically just gave myself more points without really increasing the debuffs. So later on, I'm going to actually, I didn't realize this first, I forgot, but I'm going to disable the slower hunger rate from the world, so it actually feels fair. My hunger rate is actually going to increase quite a bit, but it's not going to be this day. Yeah, it's not going to be this week. I just realized this like maybe on the 28th, 29th maybe, and then I disabled it. So I'm sorry. It was not on purpose that I increased my hunger. It just was a good one that gives points. Uh, if you play with this mod, I gotta say, like, movement speed is just busted. Like, increase your move speed is just busted as hell. I also had the option of pausing time to do that. I chose to use just normal time, just so it isn't very unfair. And today and the most of this week actually is going to be me going around and doing exactly this. I am going to be searching for samples of metals. I need to find bronze. It's still my main goal to get to bronze and then get to iron. I don't have much of the prospect of getting to steel yet, because to get to steel I need a lot of preparation, which that I simply do not have at the moment. But as soon as I get to iron and I get metallic iron, I can start thinking of going for steel in some things. Right now though, I'm completely content with just going for iron. This first day on this play, or this week, was pretty fruitless. I'm trying to find a good spot to find cassiterite, which is the ore for tin. And as much as I search for it, I don't really find a good enough spot. So I decided to go with the next best thing, which is I remember that I found a zinc ingot, and then I thought maybe I can find just bismuth and zinc, and then I can just do bronze that way with bismuth and zinc. I have never really been able to do gold and silver. I found gold multiple times, but I never found silver. I don't know why, I just never find silver anywhere. Also, by now you can see how much HP I have. And I thought maybe this mod had a bad incompatibility or something because I'm trying to open the broken chests and the crates, but they don't seem to have. By now it's pretty obvious how much HP I have. You can see it on the bottom. That's a lot of things in there. I believe at this point I have about 40 HP when you normally only get about 30, even when you have like full hunger, even if you're a blackguard. So here I'm trying to open this chest. I'm really clicking, but there's nothing I can do. Like I try to go with an empty hand and everything, but it's just nothing works. Which I thought maybe once that would work. It'd be like, okay, that's empty, and then there's another one I can. I'm like, well, am I bugged? Did my inventory thing fuck it up? Did my class, my trade thing mess it up? And I just think they're empty. I tried to pick them up and bring them, but and then I got a really visitor. I have always been awful with using the spear. I just don't know what's with the spear. I probably should just be trying to throw it, but it just doesn't do much damage. I can keep away from that guy pretty well. And I still go back, try to get that, but nothing happens. I go back, check one more time. It's stupid of me because I know the guy is still alive. He just moved back. And I let myself get ambushed by a little guy. Fucking drifter, man. And look at that, I'm just staring right at him and I can't hit him and I'm jumping around. And look at those hits. He's a deep drifter, so he's pretty strong. And when you find someone who's unarmored and everything. So even though I have so much HP, if I don't pay attention, I'm gonna just get my face kicked in by little guys like this. You're also going to be seeing my hunger jumping up and down because I guess this trait thing and X skills aren't perfectly compatible. So on X skills I have increased hunger, but on this thing I don't. On the straight thing, and it just keeps trying to put my hunger bar at the normal base. It still counts. It still counts all the way to the standard hunger. It's visually glitchy. If it bothers you, I'm really sorry, but you're going to be seeing my hunger bar going up and down randomly. It's not that I'm eating; it's just that the value of the bar is going up and down, and I don't know what causes it. Anyway, since I am actually digging down and trying to prospect the soil around. I remember this and I decided to dig down over here. I never found this before, so I didn't know there was stuff underground, but it's pretty standard that when you find something that you definitely like a structure or ruin or something, you probably should dig down just to check if there's any stuff under that. I didn't because I would probably see the crack vessels particles that I have on the other mod. And there was none, so I didn't check. But this is definitely a chest with some stuff on it. Nothing very interesting besides the pavers. It gives me a blueprint so I can make stone paths a lot easier. And uh, I'm sorry to tell you right now, but this week in that I'm gonna be playing, I'm still not gonna make any stone paths because I am terrible at building. But I will be happy to know that I am going to be doing some building in the future. I know for a fact that building is about my weakest front in this game, and I try, man. Like I try a little bit. I don't try very hard. I'll admit it. And once again, you just watch me just manage inventories for a while. It's just a complete mess. Uh, I am sorry, and I left it here just so you can see that you are not losing much when I cut stuff away. Before I get too sidetracked on the treasure hunting business, I can't forget that I was here for a specific purpose, time to prospect. Yeah, so I have no idea what the fuck that was all about. There was a lot of things that has happened in quick succession, but I'm back home, and that's what matters. I finally decided I have had enough of those boxes being on my way when I'm going upstairs over here. So I decided to just put them just close to the wall. And that's a perfectly good place for them to be if you. Unfortunately, my day wasn't very productive. I've been just prospecting all day pretty much. And even when I do come back, it's not like I have a lot to do in here. I don't have any new ore to process or any new metal to do. Uh, and I'm just searching for what type of stuff I should be probably thinking about making, if I should be expanding or thinking on the next steps. My next goals on the way to my main goal, which is just get to the Iron Age as quick as possible. Well, not as quick as possible, but as quick as manageable without screwing myself over. I look outside and I realize, man, this isn't even the first time I got stuck inside. When those guys just spawn outside, I just stick to the door, huh? I decided to just do the most sensible thing I could think of, which is just start digging. I've been quite frustrated trying to get up here or down there while those guys are outside, so I'm just gonna make myself a little ladder here, and for the time being I'll just use that. And as you probably know me by now, when I say for the time being, I probably mean us permanently, as you can probably think, is going to be there for a while. I realized I left my boards up there, so I had to run up there anyway, which was kind of quite embarrassing, but luckily I don't have to show you that. And if I didn't tell you I had to do that, maybe you would be none the wiser. But maybe the more astute of you would notice. Well, I would definitely notice when I watch this back, because I am mostly making these videos for myself. But sadly for the day, the timer was really running out, and I was bumbling all around trying to get everything set up before the timer, but I didn't. And speaking of, there's something for the timer now. That's right, I managed to put some little editing on this. As much editing as a fifth grader could probably do in his sleep, but just something to help keep track of the days. Well, it didn't very much help because I'm still stuck in here. After hanging around till the daytime, when I finally do go out, I go and check in my bees. My bees are ready for collecting, but I don't want to do it right now because I don't want to set another one up. I decided to, since I'm out and about and I'm about to go do some more prospecting, I might as well do some little hunting on the way because why not? And of course, when you are out prospecting trying to find ore, you might as well try to go in a little more dangerous places. Uh, Finding holes like this is always a nice spot to get easy prospecting readings, but also maybe you get cheeky ores just hanging on the edge. I'm so afraid of fighting those guys in places like this because I know that by the time I kill this, another more guys would have spawned. So I don't want to just go down there, throw a bunch of torches or anything, and just come back when in danger. But I still want to explore a little bit, just make sure that there's something I can use down here or but sadly, nothing particularly strikes me besides the huge ass litter right there. Now, while I do want to go and keep prospecting, there's also the very real issue that I really need limestone. So limestone is just here. It's easy to get, and I should probably do it. So I try my best to mine a little bit of limestone without, you know, getting myself killed. Which, you know, ends up being quite a mess and then getting me hurt and having me kill a lot of more stuff that I hoped for. But it still worked out in the end. I just live here with some limestone to my name. I didn't dig much. And I keep being cornered by those guys just spawning out of nowhere. And I really hate the spear. I don't know what it is with the hitbox of the spear, but just not good at it. And if I hadn't increased my HP as much as I have, I'd probably be dead by now. And not satisfied with exploring one cave, I decide, what the heck, I'll just try to see what's around here while I go prospecting. Whenever you can't see the bottom of the place, I always throw a torch just to make sure how deep it is. You can still see the light from the torch. It won't stay very long, but you still got like 10 minutes of light to check what's surrounded without having to actually go down there. Sadly, the terrain here is just too unstable, and I don't want to mess around too long here, so seeing as I didn't find anything in the ravines that are interesting, I just get the fuck out of there and find the next hole for me to go die on. And as I'm mapping the prospecting area, I keep forgetting that my auto marker lists the resin as a orange circle, which was an awful choice for the default value. And I will not be changing it anytime soon, but I do change it eventually when I realize how much it bothers me when I'm trying to prospect, and those things look just like prospecting. They look just like readings. I'm still playing extremely afraid. I'm just being very careful as best as I can. On my way around, I've actually found a trader that I haven't interacted with before. Illustrator has a lot of things that are actually interesting. Lanterns and furniture and stuff like that, which I'm not really good at a real position to make. Sadly, it's not like I have the income to make all that stuff. And thanks to the better traders, I even get some chance to sell some stuff back, like board, boards and stuff like that, which would be great, but right now I'm not really focused too much on this. I'm more interested in getting my iron. Having failed to find tin so many times, I do decide that maybe I should try to find the zinc and bismuth, and I remember the bar I have in there, and I tried to check how much it actually gives me, and I actually never really had to make brass brass bronze before, so I didn't know how much brass or zinc or not brass bronze, zinc and bismuth I would need for that. And no matter how much I searched, I was all just some decents at best. And most were poor or very poor, or just trace amounts of stuff. I have a lot of stuff around. There's a lot of options, just not a lot of variety, just not a lot of high density ones. I also am going to need more stones to make the corn and other projects I had. So I am back down here again, just breaking more of the basement slash kitchen slash fire killing. I don't even know at this point. It's just a place that I burn stuff at. I make a mess, and instead of cleaning it up all that much, I just kind of try to cover it and hope it goes away. I don't really want to have to deal with zombies spawning out there or anything, or that they just dump drifters and then they just keep yelling at me. But while I'm in the process of making a corn, I realize that I will have to make myself a chisel, even though I'm not going to be chiseling any blocks for art anytime soon. Probably never, if I'm going to be honest with you. I still need this chisel, if not only for making crafting recipes that involve it, which are a lot of them. And just before midnight, I managed to finish the corn, and everything is now able to proceed. I can now treat my limestones and make lime for more leather. and more to come. But for now, so sadly, I was really hoping by day one I would also already be able to locate and start working on bronze tools and all of that. But since I'm going one day at a time, I'm just here grinding some limestone to help me with the leather production. In here, I'm debating a lot of possibilities. I can try to make parchment, and I can try to make leather, so I can upgrade my backpack. Sadly, as I debate my options, I kind of don't know exactly how I'm going to proceed about it because both are good. If I make parchment, I can make lanterns, and if I make leather, I can upgrade my inventory. And inventory slots are really valuable, but so are the lanterns. This is a long discussion I have with myself, just staring at the items and thinking, it sure would be nice to have this, and then I go back to the others and be like, sure would be nice to have that, and then it just keeps going back and forth. Eventually, I have to make a decision, and I chose that first I'm going to make the lanterns. But to make the lanterns and the parchment in the first place, I have to make myself a pair of some copper shears. I need some copper shears to make myself the parchment, and in turn the lantern. In a way, I could have made the candle and the candle and the metal plate, but this is a little cheaper than that. Of course, now I know that after you craft a tool like this, you can sharpen it for free. You don't take the durability. And if I want to upgrade my tools with better handles and things like that too, I would also need the parchment for that, because I need to make sandpaper and I need to make glue for that too. Glue, sand, and parchment for the sandpaper. That is required to make the professional tool handles. Those lanterns are really nice because they are just square, and if you place them just right, which I didn't over here, I will fix that later, you can just kind of hide them on the floor or on the ceiling in a very nice way where they are not very invasive and they still give very good light. I mean, they still give the same amount of light no matter how you place them, because you just look better if you place them right, which I will fix later. Same thing over here. I'm going to place it incorrectly because I wasn't aware how much of a difference it made to the looks. If you, depending on the block you pick, it tries to attach to the block you were looking at. So if you look at the one at the bottom, it attaches to the bottom. And if you look at the right, like I did there, it attaches to the right, which makes a little wooden platform under it. It still works just fine. It just looks weird because the light is coming from the wood. In here, I actually do place this one correctly, and you see how much better it looks because it actually looks like it fits the entire block, not just a little bit of it. Sadly, as my expedition really didn't find anything conclusive, I'm still trying to find myself a good spot to start digging, and finally hits the bronze age that I've been trying to hit so long. Not like that getting the information is bad. Having the information, obviously, it's valuable for the future. I know that I don't have to do this later, so I'm doing this all as much of this as I can in this area is pretty good. I just don't want to travel very far away because obviously I have to be somewhere I can safely set up for the night, and there's not a whole lot of I can do safe for the night if I'm just in the middle of nowhere. But no matter how much I prospect, and it all seems to come to a dead end or some kind of clue or some lead that just goes nowhere. So I picked the best spot I found for bismuth, since I have the zinc already, and I try my hand at just digging down and checking if I can find any. The water bucket method uses a raft, and I realized I didn't have one, so I had to go out of my way, make an axe, cut some trees, and get some cattails to actually make it. So now I can finally go down that hole. Returned home, I found exactly what I was searching for. For once, it seems like I'm in the right path, and I'm almost done getting to the bronze path, right? Oh yeah, by the way, there's a little Easter egg with the rafts on from Survival. You can just stare at them, and then you get a little engraving. I start running the math on everything I have and how much I actually need for the bismuth bronze. And no matter how much I try, no matter how many times I think about it, I only have 20 zinc, which means I have exactly enough for 500. Now this is a disappointing amount because I need 900 for the anvil, and I need 100 more for the pickaxe, so I can actually get iron. And without those, I am not actually able to move on to the Iron Age. And I'm not here just to make copper or bronze tools, so I'm in a little bit of an impasse right now. I mark up some spots that look interesting, and I hope that I can investigate them, but really I'm running out of time. Before nighttime settles, I decide to just say screw it, and I just go there. But now I have no choice but to come back in the dark, and I didn't even get precisely what I wanted out of this reading. I'm just trying to pick up the directions and trying to pick the spots between them and seeing if it goes up or down, or even going up beyond the point of if it goes up and down. But it seems that decent is as high as a lot of those get. At this point, I am just frustrated and trying to find something. So just so I can actually feel like I'm making some progress. But no matter how much information I gather around this area, it seems like I don't ever get a good enough hit for what I'm searching. So even though I found bismuth, now I would have to find zinc. And that's the problem with the bronze that isn't the tin one. With the normal tin bronze, you just find tin and you're done. With the gold and silver one, you have to find gold and you have to find silver. With the bismuth bronze, you have to find bismuth and you have to find zinc. I found bismuth, but I had a few zinc, but not enough zinc for everything I wanted to. And no matter what, I had to come back home because any more time I'm wasting there, I'm just gonna end up getting stuck. So I just wait until the midnight by grinding away. Not much music to add to the grinding, but I do need to grind both flour and lime. The lime is going to be very useful if I want to make more lanterns or more leather, and I do want leather to increase my backpacks. That means grinding away is a great time to keep track of the time, and it's almost time for... All those days later, all this prospecting later, and I'm still don't feel like I am any closer to bronze. So I just head straight to bed so I can just go out and search. I'm starting to get desperate enough to try a little more into those holes, but I'm still scared. I do find decent magnetite, which is alright. I mean, I do need iron eventually, that's what the entire point of this, but I can't really get iron right now. I decided to do something really reckless here, and I'm deciding to, yeah, you know what, I'm just gonna go down a little further, see if I can find anything or get anything I can use out of this. At a prospect in the area, normally I'm just digging on the walls and seeing if I find any hits of ore by the side, but unfortunately, I am now already way too deep and I'm not getting anything. My sanity is going down very fast. I mean, the footage is speed up 2 times speed. but it's still very obvious that I shouldn't be going down there right now. Not for the weekly readings I have around. So I do a few more readings. Try to find the best I can reading for tin, and sadly once again casterized doesn't seem to go in any particular way. They just kind of start peaks into the middle here and then it just wanders away from in whatever direction I try to follow it. I pick an area that I find appropriate. That around there should be fine. One spot closer to there should give me the reading I want, and if it doesn't, I'm going to go hunting on the ground. Well, since I didn't bring my raft again, I decided, nah, what the hell, I'm just gonna go under the lake because it already has water on it. I don't have my raft or my boat, but I can use this to get up and down pretty quick without having to make use full ladder. Find myself in a cave. And I find myself what I've been looking for just right down there the moment I get there. The issue is, I'm pretty sure I'm not alone, and that sureness manifests itself right away. I don't want to fight them because I'm pretty sure the amount of time it takes to kill one of them is gonna be more enough reward stuff to spawn. But I want that tin, and I'm considering going down there and just trying to get it. Taking a lot of risks, making a lot of harsh decisions. I don't want to deal with those guys though. I know I can't. I can't deal with them. So I'm gonna have to go around. Not wanting to leave empty-handed. Digging around seems to be the only sensible choice we have. Not quite over there to the other side yet. And now my temporary stability is dropping so low that the music is gonna start playing. I don't have very long to be here, so I gotta get this and get the fuck out. Not only my stability going down, my time is going down too. It's already 22 in game, and I'm playing a hard gamble over here that I'm gonna be fine doing this. I know I have to get to the other side too. Well, just as we're getting out, this guy shows up. I am not particularly sure how I managed to sneak by in there. So I thought that was close by, but I can't spend all day over here just stabbing this guy. I spent too much time and I don't even kill him. I just gotta get the fuck out of there and go home. I barely am going to make it as it is, and already midnight, so I am already late. So for long as I could see the home, I knew I could make it. But the wrong way too, just didn't help. I had to scutter back home, feeling a little defeated because I couldn't get out that much, but I did get some, and some is enough to start with my next point for the copper era, not the bronze era. But before I forget, because I'm sorry that it's a little bit cheaty because I should just get out of the game right now. I wanted to mark where I went down to get the tin, just in case that wasn't enough. And now, after a long delay, we can finally... I remember pretty vividly what I was up to, and I know I need more tin. Well, I don't know it yet, but I have a sneaky suspicion that I didn't get enough tin to do everything I wanted. I didn't realize how little tin I was gonna get, but I get 10 nuggets. And if you know anything about bronze, right, and if you do a little bit of the math, you need 8% tin to make the bronze for it's about as little tin you can use. You need 8%. So for 8% of 1,000, which is how much I need, is exactly 16 nuggets. That's if you want to make bronze efficiently, you always use tin in 8s, right? 8, 16, 24, 32, things like that. Like you always go by 8s because that will give you exactly 8%. It's very easy to do 80, 80 out of a 100, or 80 out of 1,000. Sadly, I can couldn't do it over here. But at least now I know where there's tin, and I know that I can just go back and get more tin and prepare my bronze. Which means I should be probably getting ready to process the iron and to get my bronze anvil. So I need to fire those clay things up, and that is the next step I'm gonna do before I set out to go back to mining. A lot of times in this game, there's the things you just have to passively let time pass. You can make it faster for yourself if you're sleeping a lot in game. But if you're like me, where you think every minute matters, it's better to just have those things running as often as you can, so you don't have to worry too much about having to wait for them by the time you need them. But I'm going back for that tin. I need it, and there's no other way around it. As you can see, you don't want to just free drop on those holes you make if you're doing the water method, because they will crush your legs. They're going to do a lot of damage. I don't think they can kill you, at least I never died to them, maybe because combatoverhaul prevented me from dying from them, but if you just let yourself free drop, you're going to take a lot of damage, so just press space every now and again to lower your speed. And once again, I do not want to fuck with those guys out there. I know that I could probably juke them and make myself a hole over there and be fine, but I decide against it and I just make a full wall so I don't have to deal with them. It's a good news and bad news that there's not a lot of tin here. Because first of all, I don't need a whole lot of tin. I need a good amount, but not a whole lot. Just enough to get the anvil set up and the pickaxe set up. From there, I can just go straight into the Iron Age. It's just a little deviation that I have to make just to make sure that I can actually craft iron stuff. And I finally level up my mining skill. The raft make climbing those a lot faster, but you actually don't need the raft at all. It's easier to climb it if you're going back, like holding down S and just holding down space. That makes it way easier to just climb. You can also try to go on the diagonals, it goes a little bit faster, but nothing too noticeable. And I don't know why, but it just feels like the game lets you catch your breath while you're in there. I don't understand why, but it just kind of feels like it happens. If you can't do that, you can easily make air pockets and stuff. That is another mistake, or rather another issue that I noticed while I was in there, in my base, counting my tin. Now I definitely have enough. And the mistake is, I actually have enough tin now, but I do not have enough copper. I just actually am too low on copper to make 1,000 bronze worth of bronze. So I go around trying to search for a good spot for copper. I don't really find anywhere decent, and I didn't bring my bucket either. So instead of just digging straight down, I decided to make like a little entryway in the mountain. Just give it a little check, and I realized very quickly that this is going to take forever to do too. But at least I made it too wide on the entrance, so I know I can find it easier. But going down further, I will not keep doing this. I was just gonna try to speed it up. And boy, do I dig. You see me on the way out. I did not give you guys a full hunting for this copper montage because really, you guys do not need to see how long I spent just digging. But the prospecting pick is my first hit, and I go to now hunting it down like I did with the tin. Thankfully this one is not hidden by an awful cave, so I can easily just start digging it up. You might have noticed that the main issue here isn't actually the depth or the sanity or anything. I actually am just running out of time. And by this point I had completely given up returning home, so I'm just gonna box myself in here and call it for the day. In the mines, my inventory is a mess. I should have been that onion, then have one other space, but you know what? That's an issue for me from the future. Right now, I have to get the fuck out of here. With just 2 days left on this week, my only goal of getting to bronze is as close as it has ever been, but I really expected to be done with it by day 1 or 2. I didn't expect to drag it all the way to day 6 or 5, but I finished getting the copper here. That's not a whole lot to show that you haven't seen before, so nothing too exciting. And then I decided that I actually need some more stones, just full stones, not the small rocks. Or is it the other way around? I do believe it's rock. Yeah, I need the full rocks, not the small stones. So to get the rocks, I just dig around since I'm already down here instead of going back to my basement and messing it up some more. And once I'm done with that, I feel like I'm satisfied. I got everything I want. Now it's time to get the fuck out of here. Get to watch me slowly make my way up with the mess I created out here. By the way, finding quartz really sucks when you don't have a bronze pickaxe because you really can't do anything to it. You need at least a bronze pick. You can see it really went down and dug around a little bit to try to find a hit. I'm back at home, and this time I have everything I need to make bronze. I am finally ready to get the bronze in action, and I even have 500 extra bronze I can use in case I need more pickaxes or whatever. I want to make, I don't know, a sword or an armor or something like that. This time I actually got enough to do all the 1,000 bronze units, and I just perfectly have it. Well, I have X to spare, but Thank fuck. While I'm waiting for it to cook up, I decided what the hell, I'm gonna get the lime barrels set up so I can get into making the more of the leather, which I actually need, but it just takes a lot of just waiting. Don't want your if you don't want your hides to spoil, you can treat them into lime water, and then you can decide what you're gonna do with them later. You got options such as turning them into sturdy leather and parchment. I mean, if you have a mod to allow you to make parchment out of all the sizes, if you don't, the small ones are just turned to either leather or parchment, and the huge and the large ones turn into sturdy leather if you have all the chromite and the sulfur and all that stuff, and the saltpeter. You will not get that kind of stuff unless you are cave spelunking, because saltpeter you would only find really in caves, and it's very difficult to get there when you don't have even iron gear, so, or you have playing co-op or something. But I finally can get this anvil out of the way, and I can finally get this pickaxe in play. Now I know besides those things I am also going to want to make something with the other mod that I installed, which is the rock ovens. That's why I got all those rocks. I got them so I can make ovens out of stuff. And with the stone ovens specifically, I am going to need some more fire clay, and I'm also going to need some more copper plates, which means I need some copper ingots, which means I'm just melting some copper while I wait for everything to settle down and in their molds. And while I'm out here waiting for stuff to settle in, I check my inventory manager a little bit, and I decide, you know what? There's a thing in here in front of my house that has tried to kill me more than it has helped me. I think it's time for it to go. And as I pick up my trusty spear and I decide to give those guys hell, it's time for them to go away. I feel a little bad for making them suffer by using such a weak weapon to kill them, but it had to be done. This thing had to get out of here. I need to prepare myself some more bricks. I need to get ready with the fire bricks so I can just speed up the production of iron as soon as I get it. Part of me is thinking about making just a beehive kiln or just right now, but I feel like that's way too early, and I don't want to dedicate myself to getting the mortar set up and all that right at this moment. Because I don't need, I'm not firing up so much kiln stuff anyway right now. Everything upstairs seems to be setting up just nice. It's time to get my anvil set up and time to get my new pickaxe. It comes to my mind that I could actually just broken this anvil with the chisel. I could have used it to get some of the anvil stuff back. I also fixed the lights down there, so it actually doesn't look so bad anymore. I would have still lost metal doing that, so it's no problem. Right now, though, I gotta get the fuck out of here. This week was mostly about acquiring information, just a lot of prospecting, but I did finally achieve my goal. I got the bronze set up. And with the bronze set up in place, now I can actually start hunting for the iron. The irony is, despite the fact that I'm actually now ready to go hunting for the iron, I am also now ready to start making my ovens and improving the base a little bit more. So I decide, what the hell, I'm already here. I'm already started all the steps. I'm gonna do this during the day, and if I can, I will try to do some mining later. So I actually thought I only needed 2 plates to do the oven, and I need only 2 plates to make the heating oven. Every baking space, the actual place that gets heat that I put my food on that I want to make, I need an extra plate. And I want to make at least 2. At the base game, you can make clay ovens, or the fire clay ovens. And they're okay. They are a little bit weird because I have to fire it up and then you use it after firing it up. Those ovens are a little better because you can just place them and you can just use them as they are. In fact, the issue right now is that I have to place them, and I'm looking down here and thinking, where the hell do I place this oven? I look around, think about where to put it, and I decide I'm just gonna put it over there for a while and put this thing. I need to put a heating distributor next to the oven. I can't actually just put the baking spaces. So every baking space I put near those just makes a just gets the heat, and I can just cook from that. Also, I got tired of those things showing up as matches for when I'm looking around for the prospecting information. So I just change the ones that are circles on the auto marker, and I go back and manually change all of the markers on the map, which is well, all the markers on the map. I don't think I saved that actually. I have to check. I'm probably gonna have to go back and double check if I save it properly, which I probably didn't. But I haven't gotten any resin. I'm not really hunting for resin. But after I'm done with all that bullshit, I come back to check on my leather, and the lime treatment part is very fast. It's only like about a day or so. Those things over here, when you start tanning your hide, that's about 4 days each, and that takes a while because you have to do it twice. A little more meeting later, and me checking up more of my skills, missing my metalworking skills that I have on the server, I come back to the basement to make some baking spaces. I think about just baking over there and just keeping it like this. And the more I look at this oven like this, the wronger it feels. I decided to change the position of the oven later, but for now I decided to go a little out and try to get some more resources or some more information before the daytime finally ends. Right now I'm trying to hit a high or very high iron deposit, but I get a few decents around here, and there seems to be about the area where the magnetite. There's three things you can search for iron, and you will find iron ore. There can be magnetite, hematite, and limetite, something like that. All of those will give you iron ore or iron blue when you cook them, which they're all iron. Mark the spot on my map, and I finally go back home. I know that I have to set the bloom somewhere, so I decided to just break part of this thing, because I remember there's like a little overhang, and I bring my bricks over here, and I increase the overhang by one just so I have a little more space, and I decided to put my blooms over here, so they are a little more out of the way. Blooms, just like a bee scalps, suck ass because you have to keep breaking them to get their stuff, unless you have a skill that allows you to not have to do that. I am very, 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 very dearly considering getting the golden combs mod so I don't have to break scalps, because I really don't want to just keep breaking scalps and making new ones. I already should probably make some more scalps and put them around there, but right now I just really don't want to bother starting moving scalps, breaking scalps, all that is a pain. I also finally got my mixing bowl, and after moving the oven I tried to put it over there and it doesn't really feel just right. I don't know how to use this either, so I know I have to place it down, and I try to right click it, but it actually doesn't work. To actually use it, you have to click the block it's on top of, not really the pod itself. Is a little jank, like you saw that there's a different hitbox for under the pod, and I'm trying to figure that out, but as you can probably tell, my time is up, and this is going to be the week. I'll be back with more next week, and I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves. Here's a few stats for you guys.